Hello everyone, my name's Adam Case and I'm the president of the Miami, Fort Lauderdale, and Palm Beach Home Designer Remodeling Shows, Florida's largest and most trusted destination and resource for everything home design and home improvement. I'd like to thank you all for joining us today for this incredible presentation and CEU course on today's smart home. It's presented by Osmar of Lutron. I'd like to offer a very special thank you to LBU Lighting for hosting this incredible virtual event so all of us can get greater information, more knowledge and education to be able to offer all of our clients and homeowners. LBU Lighting has been Florida's premier destination for all specialty lighting here in Florida. They have 9 locations. I suggest all of you to definitely check them out. You can visit their website at LBU Lighting, and in just a little bit, I'm going to be introducing Bob Bartlemy, who's the showroom manager right here in Naples. So he's going to be talking a little bit more about LBU Lighting and what they have to offer all designers, contractors, builders, and homeowners. So stay tuned for that. But before we get to Bob, I want to introduce someone very special to us, Michelle Castagna. She is the president and owner of Muse Design Studio and also the president of Florida's chapter of the IFDA. And they are an incredible organization with some very, very impressive designers and other specialists within the home design industry. But without further ado, please welcome Michelle so that way she can introduce herself and say hello to you all. Thank you for joining us.
Hey everybody, my name is Michelle Castagna and I am the president and owner of Muse Design Studio based out of South Florida. I am also the current chapter president of the IFDA Florida, which is the International Furnishings and Design Association for those of you who are unaware of our organization. First off, before I say anything more, I want to thank Adam for allowing us to be part of this venture. It is such a wonderful thing to be able to allow growth and continuing education for our industry in general. So we love that, and thank you, Adam. I'm sure you guys are in for a treat with Lutron and LBU presenting this to you today. I'm sorry I can't be physically in Naples to be part of this. I had a prior commitment actually pertaining to the IFDA, and I hope you guys really enjoy it. So I also, before signing off, I want to let all designers know about a wonderful opportunity that we have. IFDA Florida is running a statewide competition for the 2nd year in a row. It's called Florida's Finest Design Competition. We are partnered up with the South Florida Design Park and also the prestigious Florida Design Magazine. So not only will winners of this event be given a pretty trophy, but they will also have the opportunity to have published work in Florida design. All winners will be published, and this is an amazing opportunity for designers throughout the state. So we'd love to spread the word about that. You do not have to be an IFDA member to enter the competition. If you are an IFDA member, you do have reduced submission fees, so it may be worth looking into. But you can reach out to me either through my Muse Design Studio contacts, or the IFDA Florida chapter has an Instagram and a Facebook page, and the website is www.ifdaflorida.com, and you can find all the submission information. There's a card, sorry for being chaotic, but these could be popping up in local showrooms near you. We have some distribution going on in Naples, Tampa, Winter Park. So be on the lookout, and everything has the QR code so you can easily click. But if you do not have access to one of these cards, you can certainly go to the website and get all the information or reach out to me. So I just wanted to present that opportunity to designers that may be on this call. And once again, thank you so much, Adam, for having us. And I wish you guys a successful CEU. Thank you.
And we are here to serve the Florida population as well as the United States and the international market. For those of you that are familiar with us, I would invite you to visit your local LBU store. We have 9 in Florida. We have upgraded our locations and we have new displays all the time, and we really welcome your visits. At this time, I would like to turn over the course to our presenter, which is Osmar from Core Essential. He's our local Lutron rep, and he is going to tell you about today's smart home innovations. So once again, a warm welcome for Osmar. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Hello, everyone. Thank you very much. Thank you, Bob. Thank you, everybody. Today, CEU is about today's smart home. We appreciate you being here today. I know there's going to be a lot of questions, so if we can leave it towards the end, we'll definitely try to answer and tackle them one by one. We're also going to have raffle for you being here today, and there's going to be a surprise raffle. So thanks again. And with that, we're going to start. So today's smart home, we want to talk about, a description today would be, where are we and where are we going? What are the growth trends and demographics? Where do we see us selling more, and where do we need to educate more people to be able to understand and install the product? Lighting control, the benefits of lighting control. Where does it make sense? Best practices, smart lighting control and design. We also want to talk about shading. One time, I remember a customer had a beautiful ambiance set up, and then all of a sudden, he had to move the scene, and then all of a sudden somebody raised the shade, and all the sunlight came in and completely took over and destroyed the scene, so the mood and the ambience. So shading is amazing, not only for heat reflection and taking care of all of your materials, your gallery, but it also can give you peace of mind and privacy. We're also going to talk about voice control, voice user interface, security and integrations, the different protocols, what type of smart lighting control protocols you should be looking into, which ones you should not be looking into, and the security risk and resolutions. So the learning objectives today will be to identify opportunities for various smart home products throughout a property. Okay, how do you scale a system for the square footage of the house? So what products make sense for that particular home? We want to communicate the life improvement benefits of a smart home product. So we have healthy, but we also have disabled and handicapped people that can use these smart connected home solutions to help them for the day-to-day life. Ensure various products will integrate with each other successfully. I mean, when you look at a lighting system or a control system or smart home, you want technology that actually works, and it has many different partners so that it integrates seamlessly through one point, like an app, and one source, one location. So as you can see in this chart, which you're probably seeing on the screen, I'm seeing it to my right here, you see a trend, a growth, which is rapidly increasing throughout the years, and it's estimated that by 2022, it'll double. We'll have over 50% of the homes, okay, will have smart products, and this is being calculated. There's going to be about a $107 billion global market and about a 31% annual growth rate. When we look at the consumer and the products, there's a lot of misconceptions, and there's also some customers that perceive smart control, smart lighting, or smart products, connected home solutions as fragmented or clunky or just difficult to use or very expensive, which is usually not the case. And there's a lack of perceived benefit, which is definitely not the case. As you can see in this chart here, the age group 55 and over sees connected home and smart homes as potentially something that will not make their life easier. So here's where we can tackle and educate them about it, bringing them to a lighting showroom, show them the product, and be able to see it live. Sometimes, seeing it in person, touching, feeling, speaks more than 1,000 words. As you can see, the age demographic group there from 16 to about 35, they see connected home smart devices as extremely valuable, as it can control and make their lives a lot easier. So this is the generation that we're going to be selling to the most, and that's going to be coming over and over. So there's a lot of avenue here to stream revenue. New construction. Look at this here. It says the ratio of existing homes sold to new homes. So there's a 9 to 1% ratio. There's a huge potential for retrofit applications, retrofit solutions. Okay, not discarding new construction. Okay, we have systems that can work in new constructions, low voltage wiring, as well as wireless systems for communication that can work and completely retrofit into the home. Why are builders adding smart technology? Well, I mean, homes and residences or places that don't have smart systems seem to, be considered obsolete. There's a differentiation in the marketplace when you have smart systems. So for example, when I was selling my home in Pennsylvania, the actual buyer did not want me to take out some of my smart controls and some of my smart thermostats because that was what attracted him to buy my home. So it's definitely a differentiator. Cost of technology is easily rolled into mortgage. I mean, you could start with a lighting control package for less than $150. So it's not expensive as it's perceived out in the field. Increase resale value of the home, absolutely. Just like an alarm system and other things that you can put in the house that upgrade the value of your home, so can lighting control. And of course, anything that you add into the home will give you privacy, will give you security, could give you a pathway into the home. All these things will satisfy the customer when they see. So when you look at a lighting control system, you got to ask yourself, does this device perform its core function reliably? So we have a lot of systems out there that when the power goes out, a lot of its programming dies with it. So you have to reprogram or recalibrate. A lot of systems, when the Wi-Fi goes down, the system also stops functioning. So you want to look at a lighting control that when the Wi-Fi is down, it still will work with its own ecology, okay? What does this work with? Well, how many partners does this have? You want that seamless integration instead of buying third-party equipment or have to rewire it, add more costs to the job. And will the device integrate with the biggest names in the industry? I mean, that's very important, okay? Well, if you want your watches, your voice command speakers, you want your HVAC, all this stuff is integrating to these big, big name brands, and you want that to be part of your smart solution as well, smart home solution. So people want products that solve problems. I consider our company to be a solutions company. We have scenarios where, you wish you had a three-way location, which means two locations that control the same light, or a four-way, which is three locations that control the same light. But you don't really want to break through the wall. You don't want to do patchwork. You don't want to have the expensive electrician or anything like that. We have solutions that can. You can actually buy the smart control system, and you can actually put systems and controls and keypads that can talk to the wireless dimmer and be able to control the lights and not have to do throughout the expense. Save energy. Well, I mean, with the evolution and the explosion of LED, we can save up to 70–80% of the energy that's used by lighting. But when you dim the lights, you can also save energy. So that's an added benefit there. Are they reliable? I know a lot of dimmers, a lot of dimming manufacturers or companies, they test maybe 100, 200 products and they considered it enough. There's manufacturers that continuously test and test and test to make sure their products are completely compatible out there. Are they easy to install and use? Absolutely, that's one thing you should consider. I mean, we have controls and devices that use existing wiring and not have to do any special wiring. Looking at some product categories here, if you look at this chart, it shows here appliances that consumers are more likely to replace with a connected device. Not surprising, lighting. Lighting is the top, about 40% you see there. And I would probably also add window treatments to that as well. Next is thermostats. One funny thing is a lot of people that kind of are a little resistant towards lighting control or just connected home in general, because for whatever reason, I asked the question, I asked them, well, you're probably already connected and you had no idea you were. And they're like, they give me this kind of look, and then I say, well, do you have a wireless printer? They're like, yes. Do you have a cell phone? Yes. Do you have a tablet? And a lot of these wireless devices were wireless for at least 15, 20 years. So they've been connected, not realizing now we're just adding more devices and make it all work together. So another situation is security cameras. That's a big one. And if you go through the list, you see fridges, security alarms, you see coffee makers, which I would think that would be at the top of the list for most people, and you know, security motion sensors. So there's a lot of things that can integrate together now that maybe wasn't possible 20, 30 years ago. So lighting control systems. So we have the first tried and true way is a centralized system. It's been around for a long time. It is a panelized system, as you're seeing on the screen. It either has a processor or power modules inside, and you basically wire all your lighting directly, not to a dimmer or a switch in the house or a fan control if you have fan loads, but you're wiring it directly to a panel, okay? And your 120 and your communication, low voltage wires, as you're seeing there on the screen, that wires directly to a keypad. So if you want a clean aesthetic, not so a lot of wall work. I mean, who wants 10, 15 switches along a wall and you have to flip it and try to remember which switch does what? Instead, you can have a keypad that once you press a button goes to a specific scene or turns on a specific zone. And you know, and it's usually low voltage, so that means it's less copper, you know, less cost and things like that. And you can run long distances, which is an advantage. So the benefits of a centralized system, it says here, no need to have a physical dimmer to take up wall space, okay? So as I mentioned before, a keypad with 5 buttons can control tons of different lighting loads. You know, if you have a kitchen with cove lighting, recess lighting, you know, under cabinet, with a single button press, you can not only control all of them, but you can specify each different lighting load to go to a specific dim level. Or you can certainly just, one button can control, toggle on and off a specific lighting load. So you can do different things. It also has LED feedback that you'll be able to see which lights are on and which lights are not on in the house. Devices have few physical limitations. No need for RF. All metal construction is possible because everything is communicating through wire. More flexibility in placing devices. No need to worry about distance, as I mentioned earlier, and able to communicate over further distances. We have some homes that might have a boat dock that you want to control the light. You have maybe a man cave out there or just another location, a pool house that is maybe 100, 200 feet away, and you need to control maybe out of the wireless range. Limitations, I mean, limited for retrofit, right? You know, you need to have the walls up, you have to wire, unless there's major renovation or new construction. Centralized system is really meant for that. And difficult to add devices after wiring setup. It's getting better. We are able to now add devices afterwards. It's the wiring is usually the concern, but sometimes you can fish wire. So another way to design a connected home system, or in this case lighting control, is a localized system. A localized system is fully retrofittable, and it can work in new construction or retrofit, or even, you know, renovation, doesn't matter. And it's usually wireless. So you can see a picture of this keypad. It doesn't have any communication wires going to it, just power and neutral. And you'll be able to, that keypad will talk directly to a dimmer or to a switch, and you'll be able to control, again, the lighting seeds. You can take all those dimmers and switches, hide it in a closet, hide it anywhere, and just have a clean keypad aesthetically, whether with a nice metal finish wall plate or a decorative finish wall plate like you're seeing there, screwless finish, and you can press any scenes, raise and lower it, and reprogram any way you want. So that is a very, very good, and it uses the same house wiring, so you don't need anything extra or special. So limitations, you know, radio frequency. I mean, you want to look at systems that don't say, or you don't want to look at systems that say up to a certain distance, up to 100 feet. Well, what does that mean? Does that mean up to 100 feet, you know, line of sight, open space, or through walls, concrete? You know, we have lighting control systems that specify 30 to 60 feet, 30 feet through walls, 60 feet open line of sight. That's a guaranteed distance to communicate with devices. We also have repeaters that can extend the range and work flawless. Hybrid systems, that's becoming more and more popular, especially in the retrofit where you have maybe a dimmer that's controlling a certain lighting load, but then you would like to have a keypad there instead controlling that lighting load, but also be able to press a secondary button and control other scenes on the other side of the house or in the same area. So with a hybrid system or a hybrid keypad, you would be able to control a lighting load, but you'll also be able to control different lighting loads in the area or in the house or anywhere in the house, really. A hybrid system can have a centralized system with a panel, and it can also have a wireless keypad, wireless devices working together for those scenarios where, maybe you're adding on after the fact that the walls are closed and you just want to basically retrofit a wireless system, but you also wanted to talk to the existing wired system in the house. That is possible. So the benefits: initial setup uses pre-wiring, adds wireless devices to systems afterwards with existing wiring. Limitations: wall space is needed to use house physical dimmers and switches. And RF requirements leads to certain design limitations. Again, limits, but that could also be conquered by placement, adding repeaters, maybe doing a hybrid system, things like that. So lighting control design: a single keypad can replace an entire bank of light switches. I mean, that is wonderful. I mean, you can see here we have a palladium keypad with a nice cut through, engraved. The light shines through it. I mean, it looks fantastic. It's got that brushed nickel finish. You can have not only the aesthetic you like, but also the functionality that you like. So you can move all the switches and dimmers to a central location and hide them that way, or you can do panelized control. Reduce the number of wall box gangs with hybrid keypads, and keypads provide aesthetic enhancement over traditional switches. So why smart lighting? You can have a keypad turn just a single light, or you can have it turn off every light in the house, or you can have a pathway into the house, maybe into the kitchen, maybe inside your car. You can press a button on a remote and be able to have security, right? Because you have the lights turned on in front, your front porch, maybe in your foyer, a pathway into the living area, and again, you never have to come home to a dark house again. Aesthetics: well, you can have spotlighting, highlight, gallery art, things like that, decor, reduce the clutter by replacing switches with keypads. You can have security, automatically turn on and off lights when the alarm is triggered. I think that is one of the most fantastic things that these systems can do, is that if, Lord forbid, there is a break-in in the house and the alarm goes off, you can have shades go up, you can have the lights come on full on, or you can have them flash so that people in the area, neighbors, can see that there's something going on there suspiciously. Set lights randomly to turn on and off while you're away. There's vacation mode or away mode. There's systems out there that record and capture when you're in the house, when you're turning on and off your lights. It records all that, and then it can play it back when you're away, and it randomly turns on. And you can set a time frame to do that as well. And of course, energy savings. With the LED, dimming, and occupancy sensing, daylight sensing, all that helps reduce waste and energy loss. And it also prolongs bulb life. Smart shading. Why smart shades? Well, looking at the study here, 10 to 20% of manual shades are only actively controlled. Usually they're installed, and then they move it for like a week or so, and then it automatically just sits there, maybe at 3/4, halfway. So think about all the light coming in, all the heat coming in, especially here in Florida, and the HVAC has to work harder. Look, it says here 45 to 75% of shades do not move at all. They're just sitting there static and idle. So we have to understand that, that can affect, the sun rays coming in, glare into the house, heat into the house, just UV damage into, your flooring, maybe your couches or art galleries. So those are the things you got to consider. Why smart shades? Well, wouldn't it be wonderful just to be able to have your shades automatically, in the morning raise, and you can have that beautiful daylight coming in, that nice sun in the morning, or you can automatically lower at night for privacy. And or you can simply just press a button and be able to control it. You don't have to have it automatic, but that's all at your fingertips. Give the appearance of an occupied home. Again, when you do away mode, vacation mode, you can affect your lights and your shades to move. And you'll be able to do that, so it gives the effect that somebody is at home. Cordless design safe for children. As compared to manual shades, motorized shades, don't have a pull chain. So when you have a manual shade, when I used to work estimating and selling shades, you know how many kids, if it didn't have a tensioner and put tension on the cord, kids would play around with it and sometimes would strangle themselves. So by law, they have to have a tensioner. Removing that and putting motorized shades makes it safer for children, and you'll be able to automatically raise shades up and down, either automatically or fixed time or with a button press or with your phone app. It says here, automatically raise the shades when alarm is tripped. So again, if there's a tripped alarm, it'll move the shades. Raising shade when smoke detectors triggered. That is actually new. We actually are having that work with the shades move up and down when the smoke alarm is triggered. So that's pretty amazing that it can do that now. And just a quiet operation and alignment. When you look for smart shades for a connected home, you want to look shades that are intelligent, that are digital, don't have a lot of mechanic stops, limits, because they'll wear out and fail over time. With a digital, silent, naturally silent, because there are shades out there that are not silent and then they muffle them inside the tube with styrofoam or whatever type of insulation, but it's still noisy. 38 decibels or less is what we recommend, and it is naturally silent. A digital motor will not have these mechanical stops, so when it raises, when it lowers, it'll never fail, and it's constantly, since it has a processor, it constantly checks to make sure that it's at the right position every time, so it has 100% alignment, and it is quiet operation. So, smart thermostats. Smart thermostats has been around for a while, but what we're seeing now is we're not only having smart Wi-Fi thermostats, but we're also having learning thermostats. So as you move them, turn them up and down, even throughout the seasons, it can actually, once it learns from you, it can predict and actually do it for you. So that's the less time you have to actually manipulate and change the temperature. You can, so it automatically adapts, heats and cools perfect temperatures based on usage. It reduces energy consumption. So in the combination with having the right amount of light, having the shade go up and down at the proper times, and it all helps affect the HVAC from overworking itself. I mean, there's smart connected homes that also can have the fans come on and circulate and push the air, helping, and it can lower cooling costs for energy costs for like up to 30%. So it reduces energy consumption when you leave the house too. Remotely adjust temperature for guests and visitors. So with an app, you will be able to give access to guests or not, or you can block as well, or you can have it as a fixed temperature. So those are functionalities you can get out of a smart thermostat, and you can control it from a single source, single location app. Smart speakers. What makes a speaker smart? Well, it needs to have speakers, right? 2, a microphone, and should be able to connect to the Wi-Fi, the internet. So it says here, 1 in 5 adults will use or own a smart speaker. All major smartphones includes voice assistants. Whether you have Alexa, whether you have Google, whether you have the HomeKit, Apple Siri, all of those are integrated into these speakers, okay? And it's great for me. I have it at home. I can literally walk into the house and say, I am home, and it'll turn on a pathway into the living area or into the kitchen. And if I'm walking with my groceries or doing whatever, I don't have to fight, or put it down and grab. I can just walk right in, no problem. And you could say, when you walk away, turn all lights off. You could do the same thing by actually commanding that to a smart speaker. So, smart speakers. So it says preferred smart home products for personal assistant controls. So what do people use it most for? Just general questions. But if we're talking about in the connected home, lighting is what's used the most. Next, for the thermostat, and that could not be more true. I mean, I use that every day. I use it for my shades, I use it for my lighting, for sure, and thermostat, okay? Smart door locks, that's another one. That's another biggie, you know? I have somebody coming in, I'm in the couch, I'm watching a game, I'm in the game, I don't want to move, and my daughter or my son comes in, I can say, you know, hey, so-and-so manufacturer, open my front door. And it opens my front door, lets the person in, and I can keep watching the game. Home security systems, smart TVs. One thing that I love is to be able to, when I'm watching TV, somebody rings the doorbell, I can say, hey manufacturer, show my doorbell camera on my TV. And I can see the person outside right in front of my TV. I think that's fantastic. You know, another thing that people use it for is smart sprinklers, streaming media players, DVRs. I mean, those are huge, and it just keeps increasing. More and more products are just being added to the smart family. You know, using the voice user interface, that's just a fancy name for just a commandable speaker. That's all it means. Sometimes you'll have scenarios where, you know, you have a smart home, connected home system, and it has a lot of partners, but there might be one product or two or three that you buy that may not be partners together, you know, system A to system B. You can use, for example, a Google Assistant or an Alexa, and because this system over here only talks to, let's say, system B, let's just call it system A, and these system here is system B, but they all talk to a Google Assistant or an Alexa, you can actually have a hierarchy where those smart speakers can talk, you can bridge both system A and system B and have them all working together by using the smart speaker. And you know, you can have useful commands, you know, turn off the lights and TV. You know, I do that. I have Roku on my TV. I can actually talk to my speaker and be able to turn off and turn on my TV. You know, you can have shades come on and off. You can lower the temperature. You can activate an alarm system. You can lock or unlock the door, and many, many more things. So integration, let's talk a little bit about integration. So for the promise of the smart home to become a reality, products need to work together to create a seamless experience, okay? Here's a criteria. Does the technology require a site survey? You know, do you want that added cost or not? Are you restricted from adding other equipment, routers, Bluetooth devices? Higher frequency, more attenuation. So here's one thing, when you're looking at a connected home system, okay, you want to be careful that it doesn't play in the same frequency as maybe your router, your Wi-Fi, or your Bluetooth, or you don't want that interference, maybe Zigbee or Z-Wave. Okay, they all usually want to run at the 2.4 gigahertz, 5 gigahertz, and that's just a congested highway. You have tons of devices in your home that's in that frequency. So there's smart home devices that run at a lower frequency. I mean, we're not sending massive packets of information. All we're saying is light come on, light come off, thermostat turn to a certain level, you know, hey, door lock, unlock. So by having a lower frequency, it makes it better to go through walls, thick walls, concrete, metal, you know, etc. And you will be able to have that communication over a longer distance because of it. So that is my recommendation. A lower frequency, it's less congested, less ways of failing, and works so much better. And just again, like as I said earlier, look out for those works up to. You want to make sure that the specific specification is clear and it says where the wireless signal communicates to. And you know, you have mesh networks out there. What's best is direct line of sight. But if you are working with a mesh network, just make sure that it's a self-healing mesh network. For example, mesh network, how it typically works and how it came out originally was you have certain devices, right? And you know, to get the signal to travel, it used the different nodes or the different devices to relay the signal. But if one was broken in that link, then that's it. You have, you know, disruption. There's self-healing mesh networks that basically if you have certain devices all over the place and they use this pathway and it breaks, it actually looks for other devices to reroute the signal to get from point A to point B. And so that is, a recommendation that you can have. Local integration. Benefits does not require integration. So as I said earlier, try to look for connected home systems that doesn't depend solely and wholly on Wi-Fi. If you program the system and a Wi-Fi goes down, you will be able to still have it functioning. And if you stay afterwards, I'll be able to show you how that works. Fewer communications delays, okay? We talked about the mesh network. Limitations, more limited capabilities than cloud-based integration. Cloud is basically being able to control the system from a server or a network, and you'll be able to just submit from the app, goes to the server, back down to your system. It works great because security is a lot tighter going into it, going out to it, so it's harder to break. But there's some scenarios where you don't want to be solely dependent on that. You want the system to work independently as that, and there are systems that can do both, work off the cloud and work without the cloud. Okay, and more complicated remote access setup. You also want to make sure that you're not paying for remote setup. That is something that shouldn't be paying anymore, and that you're able to do it. So if you want to control your home from inside your house or away, if you're out of state or anything like that, you want to make sure that maybe you forgot to put the vacation mode or lower the shades or turn off certain lights, you should be able to do that free. So cloud integration. Why cloud integration is great? Security. There's security coming in, and there's security coming out. So it reduces physical space, right? Because all that rack and stuff things, most of that stuff can be in the cloud. Additional function, voice control, geofencing, remote access, it's enabled because of this. So if you don't know what geofencing is when you approach within a certain distance from the system. Let's say you're driving and you're about to pull in, turning around the block. You can have the system turn on your outside sconces or your hanging lantern or anything, any light in the front porch. And again, you'll never walk into a dark home again. So you can do great things like that. You can if you drive and text, you shouldn't, but you can also pull up and turn on the lights before you get into the house. So you can do things like that, or you can voice command, right? You can pull up an assistant and turn it on, and just make service easier, all right? Because just like a cell phone, your system, if it's cloud-based, it can update just like your cell phone does, and you don't have to replace it with a new, or you have to tie it to a computer, plug it in, and update it manually. So you have that option. Security. In order to make smart home as secure as possible, just create strong passwords for device and logins. Some of them you'll see that there's like a two-factor authentication. I mean, you'll have that. You can update, or you can keep your firmware updated. That way you're able to have the best security available at the time. So without further ado, that's it. Thank you so much. Now, for those who would like to stay for 10 minutes, I have a surprise raffle for you, and it is this Caseta kit, and we're going to be talking about the Lutron Caseta. If you're not familiar with Lutron Caseta, please stay, and we'll talk about it. Before I do so, do we have any questions? Okay. So, Lutron has a system called Caseta Wireless. And this Caseta Wireless system is completely retrofittable, now that you can use it in new construction. It consists of a wall dimmer, a plug-in dimmer, which is controlling this light, okay, as you can see there. And I was able to control that wirelessly through one of my Pico remote controls. The beautiful thing about this system is that it can be controlled via an app. If you go to the App Store, you'll be able to download, if you type Lutron, you'll be able to download the system. And you're able to control the lights on and off automatically. Now, I can unplug the router, and this system will still communicate within each other. It is not dependent. This Pico remote is very affordable. It's battery operated. It comes in different types. There's a 4-scene button, different engraving, different colors, different button configurations. This is a 3 button. This can give you the on, off, raise, lower, and a favorite scene button. This keypad here can turn different scene levels. You can control one light or you can control several lights and go to a specific level. It is completely battery operated, has a 10-year battery life, has a range of 30 feet through walls or 60 feet open air, line of sight. It can be a handheld. You can actually have a clip, put it in your car visor, just like a car garage door opener. You can press a button and it can actually control your lights before you even step into the house. You can buy this nice weighted rubber bottom here pedestal, and you can slide this Pico remote and it clicks in to know that it's secure. And you can have this in your office or in a desk or next to your nightstand, and you can able to turn on and off the lights. You can have this system work with a plug-in dimmer or a wall dimmer, okay? And you will be able to talk to it without having a processor. You can add a processor, and the benefits of adding this processor is that you can get remote access, you can get the app control, you will be able to get the geofencing, okay? And you will be able to have lights come on and off while it detects that you're nearby through your phone. You can have your landscape lights coming on and off, your exterior lights come on and off automatically through the system or through the astronomical time events, sunset, sunrise, fixed time, things like that. You can have the away mode, vacation mode. So you can have different things. This system is capable of going...
We have a question.
Yes, we have a question.
Can you talk about converting legacy light touch system to modern Lutron system?
Modern Lutron system. I think that that's probably a more broader conversation. We can probably, if that's okay, we can probably take that offline and I can answer that question because some of those, like this, for example, this wireless system, it'll be completely retrofittable. So you have to take out the old system, put the new system. This does not have a way to integrate. But if you upgrade to the next tier Lutron systems, we have a way to integrate either through RS-232, through Ethernet, or contact closure. So those are 3 ways that we can use a third-party system to integrate to ours. So let's say if you want to control from the third-party system, you want to control us, you can do that via sending our custom commands through Ethernet, RS-232, or send a contact closure to us, and our system will be able to recognize that and trigger the proper function that you like, turning on a scene or turning on a specific zone. But if you want to go a little bit more involved with that, I'd love to talk to you on the side and be able to have that conversation and find a solution. We also have sensors on this system. This system here can do 2,500 square feet with this bridge, which is the processor. We can add a secondary repeater, which can add, we can do a total system of about 3,000 to 3,500 square feet. We have a wall occupancy sensor. You can combine that with a Pico remote and talk directly to a wall dimmer. I mean, you can, if you wish, you could also talk to a plug-in dimmer. One of the beautiful things, one of my bread and butter systems that we can do with this is we can put this inside a landscape transformer box, put this inside and have this brain tell this guy to turn on, at sunset and shut off at 2 a.m. or at sunrise, your landscape lighting. So this is very, very good for that type of solution. We also have ceiling occupancy sensors. Okay, these are all battery operated. So the beautiful thing about this is if you install it in this location, okay, and these all have a 10-year battery life, okay, and it's a standard battery that you can buy and you can get anywhere. and you'll be able to mount it. If for some reason it didn't work for you over here, it's easy to take it off and stick it or screw it onto another location and not have to pay somebody to put a power pack, wire it, and things like that. So there are solutions. So we can do these. Sorry, my friend. So these are great solutions, battery operated, that you can do. Another cool thing about the Pico remote is that not only can be handheld, can be clipped in a car visor, can go into a pedestal, but it can also be mounted on this plastic wall plate adapter, a wall box adapter. Okay, so you pull this out. It's very tight here, but you can pull that apart, slide it in, clips on there. Now you can actually mount it into any service. I call these my stick-on or screw-in keypads. You don't have to wire anything. So you could technically, if this is a location that you have your normal dimmer switch and you wish you had a switch here to control the light, you can actually take this Pico, screw it in or stick it onto the wall, put a nice wall plate, and sync it to that dimmer, and now you'll be able to control that without having to do all the patchwork, all the drywalling, all the wiring. So those are solutions that we have. We have many, many, many different types of color options. So this is the Caseta system. We have the next tier is a Select system, which gives you more range for bigger homes, up to 8,000 square feet, many repeaters, more than 100 devices. This system gives you 75 devices. We also have beautiful metal wall plate finishes that you can choose from quartz, onyx, bronze, everything available. And we also have USB receptacles also in the various different decorative colors, matte finishes, satin finishes, gloss finishes, and also metal plates in the different chrome or brass. We also have battery operated 10-year life daylight sensors. So a way to harness the natural light is this will detect that you have a lot of light coming in, so it'll tell the dimmer over here, dim or shut off if it's too much light coming in. And once the natural light starts fading away, this will tell the dimmer, hey, turn on the artificial light, right? And that way you'll have appropriate lighting inside. So with a combination of a daylight sensor to harvest the light, an occupancy sensor, all these can talk to the dimmer. This occupancy will shut off the lights if it doesn't detect any present and turn it on. This will tell it how much amount of light it should have inside the room. And of course, you can have the app or you can have any other Pico to control the dimmer. So you can have all four of those devices controlling that dimmer. So this is the Caseta wireless system. Again, to recap, it's a 75 device system. It can handle AC fan motors. It can handle any lighting LED load or incandescent or halogen, electronic low voltage. We have all the appropriate dimmers for it. We have the different colors of Pico, colors of dimmers. It can do about 3,500 square feet with the added repeater. We have plug-in dimmers, and we also have power packs, even though this is not part of the Caseta system. But this little guy, if you don't have a switch to control a light or anything like that, this is a problem solver. This here, you attach it to a junction box, either on the side or inside of it, and you will be able to talk to it with a Pico. So you're controlling a fan, switching it on and off, or a lighting load, or 0 to 10, whatever you're using, you'll be able to control it with this. So just think about this dimmer that goes in a junction box instead of a wall box or a plug-in. Okay? This little plug-in plugs into 2 lamps. So if you put it in the back of nightstand of your bed, you can control your wife's light, your light. So in my home, I have this similar Pico keypad. This controls my light, this controls her light, this controls the bathroom light, and this shuts all off. So you can be creative with that. And I mean, just beautiful solutions like that you can do. Unless there's any other questions, this is the Lutron system. You can come over here at LBU Lighting in Naples and make all your purchases. Thank you very much. We appreciate you, and thank you for taking the time for being here with us today.
I just want to remind you all to receive your CEU credit. Please just take a pen out. I also put it in the chat. Just email Andrea Williams. It's Andrea Williams at lbugroup.com. So just check out the chat if you didn't catch that. Her email is directly there, and please just send her your association number. And now I'd like to reintroduce Bob. We're going to be looking around the showroom, showing you exactly what LBU has to offer all of you. So Bob.
Hey, thanks again, Adam. And thank you, Osmar, for a really informative presentation. Really good. So again, everyone, thank you for joining us this evening. And again, welcome to LBU. This is an exciting time for lighting. It's an evolutionary time for lighting as we integrate LED. We're now able to do many, many things that we were not able to incorporate into the design structure prior to this technological evolution. So without further ado, I think we have some giveaways this evening. Okay.
Giveaways, and who's going to be the lucky person choosing?
I think our live studio audience participant. Yes.
Three
Yes.
items,
Aha.
right?
All right.
So we're going to have the first item. You got to choose a name.
Aha. And the first winner is Greg Stranger from Hutch Electric here in Naples. Beautiful.
All right.
All right. Imagine.
All
All
right.
right.
In the second one.
Okay.
Here. Announce the name for the LED switch.
For the beautiful light touch bar Sonata dimmer, Dan Huang. Doesn't have a company name, but Dan Huang. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
Here, I'll take that. And then we have one more, and I think Bob should be the one to announce.
Okay. So the winner for this prize is Ancha Briggs. And Ancha, you are receiving this Lutron kit, Caseta Wireless lamp module kit. Congratulations, Ancha. All right. So again, I thank you for participating this evening. And as we take a look around at our showroom, this is just a representation of our lighting showrooms throughout Florida. Again, we are partners with many of the leading vendors, including Modern Forms, WAC Lighting, Fischler, to name a few. And we are your one-stop shop for your latest lighting integration, whether it be recessed lighting or LED tape lighting. We welcome you to visit our LBU locations. Again, thank you for joining us this evening. Good night.